Hello, hello, my friends. Meg here, and I am your resident stress, sleep, and recovery coach, helping women entrepreneurs become burnout proof. Today, I want to give you a sneak peek inside the Address Your Stress workshop, which is coming up in just a couple weeks. Now, this is something I've been offering live for the past few months in person, and I'm really excited to bring it into the online space. Every time I've run this workshop, it just gets better and better and better, so I'm excited to bring it to more people. So the Address Your Stress workshop is a 90-minute interactive workshop for stressed out women entrepreneurs who want work-life balance. Now, if you've been here for any period of time, you know that I personally believe work-life balance is not what we should be striving for. We should be striving for work-life harmony, right? Where everything that we dedicate time and energy to is working with everything else to create the lifestyle that we want. But setting that aside, if you wish you could be less affected by stress, find balance in your life, prioritize your own well-being, improve your sleep habits, improve time management and productivity, and have a simple, solid, repeatable strategy for thriving in stressful seasons of life, I would love to have you join us. It's happening on May 1st at 10 o'clock Mountain Time, and you can register at worklifeharmonyclub.com. So, the flow that we are going to follow during the workshop, it's going to be very interactive. You'll need to bring a journal, have a journal ready to go, some comfy clothes. Kid-free time is best to get the most out of this, okay? The things that we are going to cover, it has 3 phases. We are going to talk embracing stress, we are going to talk reducing stress, and we are going to work together to create a stress recovery plan. So, when it comes to stress, the first thing that comes to mind is reducing it. We just want to experience less stress, right? The truth is, stress can be a good thing. Stressors invite adaptation. Stress helps us to build resilience, learn, and grow. It helps us get things done. Humans would not have survived or evolved as a species without developing stress responses. I know I've said that before, but it's true. That's why the workshop begins with learning to embrace stress. Embracing stress means recognizing stress as a helpful tool. If we look at what happens in the body when a stress response occurs, it makes sense. Let's take public speaking as an example. Around 75% of the population has a fear of public speaking, so hopefully this is a good one to go with. Before we take the stage or hit go live, what's happening in your body? Your heart rate increases, you might start to breathe faster, you might start sweating or get muscle aches, you get those butterflies in your stomach. Historically, these physiological reactions were designed to prepare us to either fight or flee. But most of us don't experience those types of situations in the day-to-day. Regardless, all of the things happening in your body are your body's way of helping you prepare to perform. This is where learning to embrace the stress response comes in. During the workshop, we are going to dive deep into some exercises that prove this. But consider this. Your increased heart rate and breathing rate are helping to boost your energy and focus. Muscle aches mean that your body is preparing to boost your strength and give you access to all the strength that you possess should you need it. Those butterflies in your tummy that you get is your body reminding you that this is important. Whatever it is, it's important to you. There is power in embracing stress and learning to recognize when we begin to experience a stress response. If we're not running from a bear or fighting off a bad guy, we can use the stress response to our advantage. Instead of panicking and feeling like our brain and body are trying to sabotage us, we can learn to pause and reframe the threat response into a challenge response, which means using our increased energy and focus to rise to the occasion and maximize our performance, whatever that may be. Embracing stress is not the same thing as avoiding stress. Avoiding it often ironically increases stress and leads to maladaptive coping strategies, means not good coping strategies, right? This can lead to increased depression and conflict in relationships. To quote Kelly McGonigal, I quote her all the time on this podcast, she's the author of The Upside of Stress. She says, quote, "Although avoiding stress can seem like a rational strategy, it almost always backfires. One of the benefits of embracing stress is that you find the strength to pursue goals and endure experiences that are difficult but meaningful." End quote. Avoiding stress leads to missed opportunities. She also says, quote, "We cannot always control the stress in our lives, but we can choose our relationship to it. Embracing stress is an act of bravery, one that requires choosing meaning over discomfort." End quote. I love that she mentions finding the meaning in everyday stress. There's stuff we have to trudge through every day, whether you're working a job that stresses you out, things that your kids do, right? Things that happen in your home and your family. finding the meaning in those things is a really, really powerful way to cope with it. We're going to work through some activities to help us seek out that meaning during the workshop. Embracing stress, I do like to make this note here, does not mean the same thing as toxic positivity, right? We're not forcing positivity into every aspect of our lives. Things are out of our control and can be extremely taxing and difficult no matter how much we work on our mindset, right? That's when step 3, creating a stress recovery plan, comes into play and becomes really important. The second phase of the workshop, we are going to discuss reducing stress. Now, I've polled hundreds of women business owners about their biggest sources of stress, and 80% of the time, our biggest stressors are time-related. We often feel that we have too many things to do and not enough time to do them in. So when it comes to reducing stress, we work a lot with time mindset, because often we don't actually need more time or even need to manage our time better. We need to give ourselves more credit there. We actually probably are doing pretty well managing our time. We just need to change our relationship with time, right? So we'll work on that, setting boundaries and different productivity strategies. I think we all have those high energy, high motivation moments where we buy the planner or sign up for the new task management software to plan out all the things. We make lists and we time block and set up the calendar. We get that hit of dopamine that comes from planning, but sooner or later that motivation fades and we find ourselves feeling overwhelmed again. No judgment, it happens. This is something that I'm personally working on all the time. This step, reducing stress, requires some introspection and honesty. Again, we're going through some exercises to illustrate this during the workshop, but something you can start on now is to start to pay attention to your energy throughout the day, week, and month. Take note of when you naturally feel more energized and motivated, when you feel you need to slow down and make more time for rest. This is a little side note. I'm really excited about next week's episode. I interviewed my friend Brianna, and she is a cycle-syncing coach who goes into the science behind all of this and our hormones and all that cool stuff. So be sure to come back next week and listen to that episode. All right. Sidebar there. The last step of the workshop is creating a stress recovery plan. As we discussed before, becoming stress-free is just not possible, and we don't want it to be. Stress is going to happen. It's out of our control sometimes. We want to avoid being stuck in that state of high activation because that's when stress starts to negatively impact our mental and physical health. So we work to create a stress recovery plan comprised of small, simple, and sustainable daily actions that allow you to recover. Think about when you are trying to build muscle, right? You work out, you lift, you do whatever, and you get micro tears in your muscle tissue, right? When that muscle tissue is given the protein that it needs and the time that it needs to heal, it builds new muscle. So similar to that, resilience to stress is built into our recovery process. If you go hard lifting every single day and do not allow time for your body to recover, you fatigue, right? You injure yourself. You don't build new muscle, you just injure yourself. And resilience to stress is built much in the same way. If you don't allow yourself time to recover from stress, that's when you burn out. There are 6 main dimensions of wellness that I coach on: physical, emotional, mental, social, environmental, and existential or spiritual. So when we create the plan, we make space to include actions for each of those areas. Now, the thing that most of us struggle with at some point is accountability, right? We know what we should do, but actually doing those things consistently can be really, really hard. So during the workshop, we're going to walk through a process to create a cadence of accountability or a system for checking in with yourself. When the Work-Life Harmony Club launches, it will add another layer of accountability as well. There you have it. I know this episode has been short and sweet. I don't think anyone minds that, but I hope it gives you an idea of what will be covered inside the Address Your Stress workshop, which you can register for at worklifeharmonyclub.com. I'll talk to you again soon.